This is Hebrews chapter 13, verse 14. For here have we no continuing city, but we seek one to come. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught us this truth and continually teach us this truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect that's laboring in this word and truth sincerity. Lord willing, this could be an edifying video. And, just want to speak on, we have eternal rest, okay? Eternal vacation coming, okay? And it's something that, I meditate on it often because, we're heavily restricted here in Babylon the Great, okay? You got to work, you got to pay bills, things are set up to where you pretty much, you just paying to survive, you really don't have, time to do anything unless you're financially free. Then you can have a schedule, get into other things. You can travel, you can you look at certain rich people, they might eat breakfast in Paris and, then eat lunch in, Germany or, they're able to do those things because, they have workers under them that take care of their businesses while they just, enjoy, the profits, and see here in Babylon the Great. Now you do got some jakes that sold out, but, they sold out, and that's, corrupted riches. And at any moment, Esau can close their accounts and take it away from them. That's why we're not laying up treasures, here on earth. We laying up treasures in heaven, because what we have coming is going to be everlasting, infinite riches, infinite resources. We're going to be the top dogs of the earth over all these heathens. Okay, reading this in the NLT. For this world is not our permanent home. We are looking forward to a home yet to come. And see, when we're in the kingdom, you're not going to be waking up to an alarm clock. You're not going to have to, cut it short with brothers. I got to get up for work in the morning. We ain't going to work at all, man. We're just going to rule. Okay, and, me and the bros, we be chatting it up. Mainly, me and my bro, Yawanathan, we be, talking about the kingdom often. And we were speaking the other day, we was going into how, these heathen men, because the scriptures say that we shall suffer out continual employment. There's not going to be unemployment in the kingdom for the heathens. Okay, there's always going to be work to do, because we're always going to have, castles that we're going to be building, cities we're going to be building. We're always going to have something that requires maintenance, that requires upkeep. Okay, our animals are going to have to be tended to. We're going to have chefs, we're going to have, maids. We're going to have certain concubines that massages, we going to live, man. But we were speaking how, say if you deal with you get a heathen woman, to her life is complete, and the father, for you getting with his daughter, and I'm mainly speaking after the 1,000 years of, captivity, when Esau's done away with and the heathen get their own land, because we're going to be fair to them. Long as they keep our laws, statutes, and commandments, we gonna do right by them. We ain't gonna be bombing them for no reason and shit like that. But we were just speaking how, you get with a heathen woman, you may give his father a job. I mean, Salakia, you may give her father a job, man. Bless her father. Yeah, I got a job for you, man. And they're gonna love that. They're gonna love working for us, man. The heathen are gonna love serving us, man. Because see, the level that the Lord is going to put us on, if a nation doesn't want to serve us, they're going to be destroyed. Let me grab that. Man, we about to reign, man. We about to be on top. All right? And it's going to be eternal, man. Okay? We ain't going to rule for a few centuries and then now it's time for another nation to rule. Nope. And that's why, it was worth the suffering. It was worth the wait. Okay? Because the scriptures say, under the whole heaven have not been done as have been done upon Jerusalem. We've been captive the most, and to everybody, man. Nobody has been through, none of these other nations has suffered as much as we have. Okay, yeah, they've been in captivity, yeah, but they haven't experienced what we've experienced, man. This is Isaiah chapter 60, verse I'm gonna start at verse 10. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. So these heathens, they're going to build up our cities. Okay, because the Most High, he's going to have mercy on us. It says, therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. Because these heathens, they're going to continuously have to pay us tribute. Okay? They're going to have to pay us tribute, man. So, I mean, we're just going to have eternal riches, and our children are going to inherit the kingdom. Okay? Which is going to be like a business, we're going to keep things in order. And it's going to be fun, man. Lord willing, we of the elect, we're going to, have those councils with Yahushua, King David on down. Where we speaking and talking and, brothers pulling up on their thrones, brothers in royal apparel. I mean, man, the Lord is going to greatly bless us, man. Okay. We're going to show these heathens how to rule, how to stunt, how to flash, man, how to flex, as Jake called it. Cause Jake like to flex, We're going to show these heathens how to flex, man. It says, for the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yet those nations shall be utterly wasted. And it's another scripture where it says the nation that will not serve us the Lord will not give them rain. Okay? So you're going to be forced to serve us, but the heathen is going to love it. Okay? Proverbs 29:2, when the righteous beareth rule, the people rejoice. So the heathen are going to love us ruling, man. Because once again, we're going to be fair to them, and our law, statutes, and commandments are righteous. Okay, and they're going to love it, man. All right. See, we're going to sit on thrones. We're going to be a nation of kings and priests. All right, we ain't going to work. Work? Man, the kingdom is going to be a rest for us, man. Let me go ahead and grab that. It's going to be a rest for us. All right, we ain't working. That's what a king has slaves for. You want to have sex with a certain woman, you going to, request her, you're going to have a schedule. Okay, I'm going to come see you on this day, be ready. Or you might put out a decree, you may be visiting one of your planets because, we got to remember, this is going to be the first intergalactic kingdom. We're going to travel from planet to planet because we're going to be fruitful and multiply. Average Israelite man is going to be like King Solomon. Is going to have 1,000 women or more, But you may put out a decree, the king is horny, and you request either if you feeling a Israelite woman, if you want to pop some Israelite women, some of your wives, you can have them come out lined up and whatever tribe you got a taste for. You might have a taste for a Manassite, and then after that you might want a Judite, and after that you might want a Zebulonite, then after that you might want to hit a Moabite bitch. So now you got to request all the tribes of your Moabite concubines. I mean, we just gonna live, man. Every time we eat, it's gonna be a feast. It's gonna be new foods, new spices, new herbs. New type of drinks, new types of wine. You know what I mean? I mean, we're just gonna live, man. We're just gonna live, and it's gonna be like that for eternity. The Lord say the best for last. This is Hebrews chapter 4, verse verse uh verse 9. There remaineth therefore a rest to the people of the Most High. Right. So there's a rest that's coming, reading in the NLT. So there is a special rest still waiting for the people of the Most High. Who are the people of the Most High? The Israelites. You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. There's a rest awaiting us. Okay, Romans the 8th chapter goes into us being joint heirs with Yahushua. We can't even comprehend. We can't even imagine what it's going to be like to, be on a chariot. And hey, man, I already got in my mind, hey, Lord willing, with the elect, man, I'm going to be popping my women on my chariot, man. It's going to be beautiful, man. Everything's going to be in order. Our kids are going to be in order. Our nation as a whole is going to be perfect. It's going to fear Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushua. Is going to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments perfectly. Ain't gonna be no more niggas, ain't gonna be no more whores, ain't gonna be none of that in our nation. Everything's gonna be in order, man. We're gonna keep our high holy days. Certain high holy days we turn up. Certain high holy days is a solemn assembly like the Passover. We're gonna be able to keep them 100%. Hey, man, they say Earth. I looked it up. How many beaches is on Earth? According to Esau, it's 10,000 beaches. So just imagine these other planets. You want to have a beach house, a house in the mountains, a house in the snow, whatever. You're going to be able to build and design it to your liking. Okay, to your liking. You're going to pick the wood. You're going to pick, whatever, the stones. If you want a castle made of gold, you can do that. A brother, his woman had a dream that she had a castle that was made of pure gold. The stairs, everything was gold, man. We're going to have all of the resources, man. So you look at billionaires today, they like to get a yacht, build a yacht, build a house and buy out the whole neighborhood so they have no neighbors. And they have the best doctors and all that, which we ain't gonna need doctors because we ain't gonna never get sick. We ain't gonna never die, But, they had the best of the best. Hey, we gonna, like King Solomon, man, he was eating off gold. They say none was silver. That's how we gonna be. We gonna eat and drink out of gold, man. And whatever you want, whatever your heart's desire is in righteousness, you're gonna have it. You're gonna have joy of your children then. Just imagine you and thousands of your sons, going to travel to another planet. Like, you got a son that's 900 years old. You got a son, he 5,000 years old. He was with you in Babylon the Great. Like, these are things that we can't even fathom, but it's coming. This is verse 11. Let us labor, therefore, to enter into that rest, lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief. So we labor because we want to be first fruits. We want to be there from the beginning. See, yeah, it's cool to be born into royalty, but we want to see it from the beginning. We want to be there when Yahushua puts crowns on the heads of the elect. Lord willing, he placed one on our head. We want to be there when Revelation, the 21st chapter, is fulfilled. New Jerusalem, the elect is coming down from the fathership to take the earth. We want to witness all of this, man. And it's coming, man. Like I said, man, brothers, man, we ain't about to be fucking, take a 30-minute lunch break. Then you got to get back to it. The job is always complaining and making you feel like you ain't shit. It's never enough. Financial problems, being behind on bills, You know, man, this is all about to be a thing of the past, man. All the suffering and hell that we going through is about to be a thing of the past. We got eternal rest coming, man. Eternal rest. You know, the Lord is going to make us a rejoicing people. Let me grab that. This is Isaiah chapter 60, verse 15. Oh, I was just reading out of here. Start at verse 14. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee, because all of these nations going to bow down. When we in their presence, they got to bow, man. And all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet, and they shall call thee the city of the Lord, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. Right? All these nations are going to know that we are the chosen people of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. All of them going to know. It says, whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellency, a joy of many generations. And it's another scripture where the Lord said, none shall make us afraid, man. He's going to make us a joy. You know, he's going to wipe away all tears, all sorrow, for the former things shall not be remembered. See, when we in the kingdom, we ain't going to want to think about this shit. It's going to be like it never happened. We're going to have memory of it, but we ain't going to want to dwell on this too long. We're going to be enjoying the kingdom too much. You know, the Lord just said it right here. An eternal excellency, man. We're going to rule forever. You know, Yahweh Shai, his kingdom, the angel Gabriel told his mother, of his kingdom there will be no end. You know, everything has an end. But Yahweh Shai kingdom, no end. Us ruling, no end. Our lives, no end. We're going to be immortal. We're going to be gods. Like, it's just so much to look forward to. It's just so much. Like, what does real food taste like? What does real air feel like to breathe? Like, what does, you know what I mean? Like, we don't even know these things because we're so used to just hell, man. You know, we don't know what a real woman is. You know, like, these are things that we can't wait to experience, man. And it's coming, brothers. We just got to stay strong, Lord willing. We endure to the end because it's coming. The Lord ain't about to leave us on the bottom forever, man. You know, he ain't about to leave us on the bottom forever. We got eternal rest coming. So, you know, I could grab some more scriptures, but I feel like the point's been made. Lord willing, it was edifying. With that, I'm going to say shalom.